everybody. How's everybody doing today? Rhea has let me come on so I can talk on her show. Thank you so much, Rhea. And today, the topic is going to be boundaries and removal. So, before we get to the boundaries and removal, for me, it's a conversation that needs to happen. And that conversation, I call it the I see you conversation. Because if somebody does something to you, right, and you feel like, oh, I need to make boundaries and remove them, I feel like first you should give that person a chance to speak their piece because I'm learning that people don't have common sense like we do. The things that you think is common sense is not to everybody. Not only is it not common sense, half the time they don't know what they did wrong. And to you, it's like, it's common sense. Don't do this. That hurts. But they don't know. So I'm in the stage of my life where I'm having these tough conversations, irritating conversations, but conversations to get the other side. Because again, nobody thinks exactly like you. Nobody thinks exactly like me. So I'm doing better to have these ICU conversations. So once we had the ICU conversations, it's like, this is how I feel. Hold on. This is how I feel about the situation. And helping somebody understand where you're coming from sometimes you'll see that that person actually did not mean to hurt you. Hey boo. Like when you have that conversation, you'll find out that, oh, that person's intentions was never to hurt you. That person's intentions was never to make you feel a certain way. So then when you have that conversation, sometimes you can come to a middle ground or an understanding before you have to actually put that boundary up, before you have to actually say, oh, I can't do this no more. So after you have that conversation, then you move to the, okay, well, I didn't like when you did this, so please don't do this anymore. I so for instance, say I have a friend. No, I'm not talking about anybody specific, but I had a friend and she just, every time she went to a different side or had her other friends, she changed on me. So for me, in that situation, I have to say, hey, I don't know what's going on with you or why you act different around these people. In her mind, she was acting the same. So it's like, I never meant to, act different. I never meant to hurt you or anything like that. It's just when we talk differently. Oh, okay. So she didn't mean to hurt my feelings. But the boundary for me is, I'm not going around you when you're around those people. I didn't have to remove myself. I didn't have to take it to the last step and remove myself from this person because they didn't genuinely mean to hurt me. So I'm starting to find out in this chapter in my life that these conversations are worth it for the people who it's worth it for. Like if it's somebody that you don't talk to that often, then it may not be worth it to have the conversation. It might be just, I'm going to remove myself. But as far as, the people who are in your daily, everyday life, people that you want to make things work with, I do believe that those conversations are necessary. Because if you don't give that person a chance and then you walk away and then years later they come back like, that's not what I meant. That's not how I felt. And then also stop making stories up in your head about this is what this person is going to say. Actually give them the chance to share their piece. And I know if you knew who I was prior to my daughter being born, y'all knew my number changed every 6 months. Because I just like, oh, okay, I don't feel like dealing with any of these people anymore. I don't care about these people anymore. I don't want these people in my life anymore, which is fine to an extent, but there's also having that conversation of, okay, this is, and that's also coming across expressing yourself, learning how to say, this is how I feel. and learning how to do it in a positive manner. Because now, again, I am learning that saying, you did this and this hurt my feelings, I get a different reaction than, I don't care, I'm done with this. You get a very different reaction when you come across in a different way. So in this part of my life, I'm definitely having a lot of the I see you conversations. And if you have the I see you conversation and it's a person that truly loves you and cares for you and want the best for you, they're going to try and, okay, well, let me bring it back. Let me figure out what's going on, or what part did I play, and have some ownership and for the things you do. So if somebody comes to you with the conversation of, what you did the other day hurt my feelings, sometimes you don't have to jump off on the defensive. Like, well, what you did last week. No, we're going past that. We're doing better than that. So when somebody comes to you, genuinely try to hear them. Stop. Do not listen to reply. Listen to actually hear and take in what they're saying. Because I know I was bad at that. No, but you said 2 weeks ago. Yes, I did. So again, this is my journey as well. So for my boundaries, and boundaries is not a bad thing. To me, I look at boundaries as self-love for myself, because I don't know when I did a 360 or a 160 or whatever, from having my daughter, being that person that I will cut you off if you look funny, if you looked at me wrong, to now I want to give everything to everybody and be here for everyone. I don't know when I made that change. I am really trying to look far back as I can to see when I made that change, because I went from this hardcore person to this, I'll give you everything, I'll do everything, it doesn't matter. So now I have to go back and find my happy medium from doing everything to just blocking people for no reason. So for me, I'm trying to build these boundaries because I love myself, not because I'm angry at you, but because I love me. Again, I'm building these boundaries not because I'm angry at you, but because I love me. So trying to figure out where am I, who are my core people. Right, I definitely know I need my balance in my life. I'm trying to find out what boundaries work for me and who deserves what kind of boundaries, because you also have to go through that book and say, okay, no, this person needs this type of boundary. I can't do this for this person. I see how this person keeps going back and forth here. So it's trying to find those boundaries, but also trying to find out who deserve these boundaries and how these boundaries work for you. What are these boundaries doing for you? Because the removal part is just so easy. It's just so easy to just, okay, I'll see you when I see you, no problem. But the removal is easy. The conversation and the boundaries is the hard part. Because for me, once I remove myself, and it does not matter who you are, it does not matter how long I've known you, because I know people who will be like, "Oh, I know them since elementary school." Great, they're not the person that they were then. They don't have the same type of goals and things that you have. So it does not matter how long I've known you, how much we've been through. If it is time for you to go, it is time for you to go. There's no real back and forth here with that one. So my thing is the conversation and truly having understanding. Now I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna say it like this. Some people are gonna have that conversation, say they understand you, and continue to do what they want to do. Those are the removal people. Those are the people that you remove, because I'm feeling like if I had this conversation, you apologize, you show me how you really feel, okay, we're good, we're good, we're good. And then next week you do the same thing. I feel like you're manipulating me. you're being manipulative because you already know I told you these boundaries. And if you continue to not listen to what my boundaries are, that means that you're being manipulated. You're manipulating me. So the conversation, and you have to tell people in the conversation exactly how you feel. Do not mix words because then it becomes a you problem. If you're not saying what you need to say in the way that you need to say it, then that's a you problem. And if it becomes a you problem, then that hand is pointed back at you. You cannot blame that other person for how you feel or how they made you feel because you did not tell them. So you have to find that voice as well. So finding the voice, have the conversation, make those boundaries, remove yourself. And if you remove yourself and the person is still coming back, then that's up to you whether you let them in or not. It's no longer up to that person. You have to solely make this a you thing. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say tonight. Boundaries does not have to be a bad thing. It does not have to be a bad thing. It is about loving yourself enough to know that what you can and cannot take and what you will and will not allow. So, and don't feel bad for removing yourself either, because if that person did not care enough, and this is a me thing, if they did not care enough, because I feel like if I tell you how I feel and you don't genuinely care enough to do better, to want to help, be there for me, then it's a no for me. It's a no, and it's a strong no for me if you don't care enough. If I'm saying you're running over my toe with this car and you don't care enough to stop, yeah, no, we don't need to. We're done. There's nothing else that needs to be said or talked about if you don't care enough. Because if you had this conversation with me, I'm going to ask you, what did I do? How do you feel? What can I do to be better? You can't do the same, then there's no way we can grow together. And this is all friendships, family, even your family. You don't have, yes, your family. You are. But that doesn't mean that you have to constantly be beaten down by them. You don't have to constantly take the crap that they're giving you. You're human. You have feelings. You're entitled to your feelings. You're entitled to how you feel. Now, I'm not saying go out here and run around. Oh, I'm not talking to her because she did something in the third grade. That's not what I'm talking about either. That's not what I'm talking about at all. If your family, your friends, and sometimes friendships are more important than other friendships, other relationships, because your friends are the people that you go to when you're down, when you're lonely, when you're hurting, and things like that. And if that person turns around and talks to the next person about, oh girl, da 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 da, and you tell them, don't have that conversation with that person because that hurts me, and they continue to do it, I don't think that's a good friend. I don't think that that's a friend that you can, continue to call a friend. So my thing is, when you create the boundaries and you remove the toxic people, because the hot topic word is toxic, 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 toxic person, toxic this. That's the hot button right there. So instead of just calling them toxic, have the conversation with them. Tell them what part they played and how you felt it was toxic and how it hurt you, and then you can do the removal. Because everybody is throwing toxic out here now. That is the hot button word. But if you're not doing anything and you're still befriending with these people or still going to, the gamma whomever house, and you're dealing with the same thing, you're putting strain on yourself that doesn't need to be there. In my opinion, this is all my opinion. Because if you remove those people, sometimes you don't even know how much of a strain that person was on you until you remove them. Me, I had somebody in my life that was pulling me down. I had no idea. When I stopped talking to this person, because I had the conversation, I see you, boo. I see you. I do not appreciate this. I don't appreciate what you did. Please don't do that no more. Come around 3 more times. The person did it 3 more times. And it was like, okay, I had to remove myself. And when I say 3 more times, we went years with this. And it wasn't until I removed that person out of my life. So I was like, I was suffering like this. I was going through this, but I'm happier. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Now I see. And it's not easy. It is not easy to get somebody out your life that has been there for a long time. I'm not saying it like it should be a snap of a finger, because it's not. It is not. It's not going to be easy to just let somebody go that you known half your life. It's not going to be easy, but you also have to do the work, because nothing in this life is easy. Nothing about it. Because if it was easy, we'd be all laid back, chilling, and having a great time with our life. It is not easy, but I will say it is worth it for your mental health, for your strength. You don't, sometimes things take physical tolls, because I'm a physical person. This face gonna tell you every day, every time, every time it's gonna tell you when something's going on. So I don't even try to hide my face at this point. It is what it is. It's gonna be written on my face, and I'm fine with it. But sometimes it takes a physical toll on you too. When you're going through things that is unnecessary, you have an unnecessary tag along friend that you just need to have this real conversation of, I see you, boo. I see you for who you are. You're not helping me. You're not giving me nothing back. I'm pouring into your cup daily, but you can't pour back into my cup. When I need you, you can't do anything for me. Okay, so I'm going to have to put some boundaries up. I might can only talk to you once a month. I might can't talk to you at all. I had to completely wash myself of my friend. You know what I mean? So sometimes I think it's worth to at least have a conversation, because you never know somebody's perspective. We all have our own different thoughts. We have our own different feelings. And people are raised different. Some people are raised off love, and some people are raised off survival. I'm a survival baby. So I think completely different. I mean, yes, I had love, but I was mostly raised off of survival. So sometimes I'll jump to the conclusion of, oh, this person wants something from me. What does this person need? Why do they want me in their life? You know what I mean? So I do own up to that, and I know that I play a role I was raised in survival, so I may think differently from somebody who's raised off of love, who just like, no, it's rainbows and sunshine, the world is great, and I'm like, no, it's not. It's not great. I've been around enough to know that no. So my perspective on looking at it is going to be different than somebody else's, if that makes sense to y'all. So that's why I say that conversation, I see you conversation, is everything. Because she could have been like, no, that's not what I meant at all. I meant XYZ. And you may be able to come around to a point of, oh my gosh, okay, I get you. I got you. And I've had conversations like that where I took something wrong and the person was like, no, that's not what I meant at all. I meant XYZ. I'm like, okay. Okay, I get it. I get it. I can see how this is what you meant. I get it. And other times is no. this is what I said. This is how I meant it. And you have to also be careful about those people who also feel like they in like some type of competition with you because you taking things one way and then they running with the jump shot over here. You know what I mean? And you'll talk to them like, well, why you do it like this? Oh, because this is what I wanted. So you just have to all around watch who's in your circle, watch who you tell your business to, watch who you feel like is watching you. Be careful. And I'm not saying that everybody's bad. That's not what I'm saying. I just know that for me and everything that I'm saying is personal to me. It is I'm talking about me and I'm just sharing my thoughts with you guys because Ray allowed me to. I just think that a lot of times and for me personally, I quit people a lot. I did. It like the person that I am versus the person that I was is like night and day. And again, trying to find that happy medium for me, which my life is a journey. And I understand that I will never be perfect and I don't strive to be perfect. I just strive to be a better person than I was yesterday. We working on it. But I just feel like, I'm in a place where I do want to have these real conversations with people who I feel like wrong me, hurt me, or things like that. I really want to have these conversations because I am very interested in your thought process. What got you here? How did you come to this? And what made your brain say that this was the thing to do? I'm really interested in in having a lot of these conversations of why, how, what made this happen? What told you that this was okay? And then for my boundaries, because sometimes people are not going to, when you say that you have boundaries or I can't allow you to play with me like this anymore, this is how things have to be. Half the time you don't have to remove yourself, they'll remove themselves because, oh, I can't get over on her. I can't play with her no more. Oh, okay, well, on to the next, which is fine by me, which is fine by me. But I just think that these conversations are very going to be very interesting. And I do think you owe the other party to at least see, what they did. As long as it's nothing crazy or too wrong that they did, I do believe that these conversations is necessary. And it kind of brings me back to Black owned businesses because a lot of people when they have bad experiences with Black owned businesses, they don't have the conversation. They don't have a conversation of, okay, this is what you did wrong. I did not appreciate this. And this is the boundary. Waiting 2 hours for my food is a boundary for me. Some of y'all already know how I get down when I'm hungry. So, hey, yes, this was not okay that this food came out this late. I want to support your Black owned business, but give me something great to support. Let's have these conversations with these Black owned businesses after we have that conversation and then they know the boundary. Then if they continue to mess up, we can be like, okay, cool, we can't do this no more. But let's have in every realm of our life, let's have these conversations. And also have these conversations with the kids. Like with your babies. Hey, what made you do this? That's not okay. You can't do that anymore. Mommy said that this is not okay. I believe in effective communication. That's where I'm standing in my growth in my center right now. Conversation boundaries. Conversation boundaries. No, everybody cannot be supported. They cannot, but see, that's what I'm saying. You had that conversation. You told them, like, I'm not waiting this long for my food no more. Then you remove yourself. I mean, I ain't gonna say that a lot of people sit and wait at them other restaurants. and wait and don't say nothing, it'll go back. So I want them to give Black businesses the same hoorah as we give everybody else, but have that conversation, because sometimes people really don't know. They really don't know when they wrong. They don't know that this hurts you. They don't know that this is not the thing to do. Sometimes they really don't know. And I'm learning that. So when I have these conversations and the person is like, they're like, well, I didn't know that was a bad thing. Yeah, it was. It was. Um, I don't know how to do that. I'm gonna just leave it up there. Yeah, that was a bad thing. I don't like it. Don't do it again. Because some people is they may have done it with other people, and it was perfectly fine. It was perfectly fine. So if they did it with other people, and they're looking at you like, well, what's your problem? That's a boundary for me. No, we're not gonna do that. Nope, we're gonna be able to do that. That's the boundary. And then they'll know from that point. They'll know from that point on that, okay, she doesn't like this. I could do it here, but I cannot do it there. Cause that's another thing that I learned in friendships. Oh, me and my homegirl do this all the time. No, I'm not gonna be able to do that. That's not a me thing. That's a y'all thing. Keep that over there. But that person didn't know that that was a boundary until we had the conversation. So that's why the conversation, the ICU conversation, then the boundary, then the removal. That is what I, Mandy, am working on in my life. That's why I picked this topic, because it's so relevant to me right now. The conversations that I'm having is so, it's sometimes it's eye opening for you, because you're like, huh, okay. Like, oh, people really do like that. Okay. It's different for me. But I think I'm supposed to be off here at 7:30, and it is close to that time. But before I go, I am going to shamelessly plug myself, Sweet Candy Lab. We have bath salts, we have soaps. Come on to my website, Sweet Candy Lab. And I'm also going to get you in here too, Raya, because I have your product to your candles and your soap. Okay. And I got my shirt. I couldn't put it on because it's dirty, but because I wear my shirt everywhere. There's makeup at the top somewhere. And it says, hello, hello, where my heel is at. I love you, Rand. Thank you so much for letting me come on and speak my truth. Hopefully I'll be back. Hopefully I'll come back. She'll let me come back a little bit. But thank you for letting me speak my truth and talk about my conversation, the boundaries and the removals. I hope that I was able to help somebody or shed some light on something for somebody, or even just somebody feel, okay, I understand you. We here. So y'all have a good night, and I'll see y'all. I think I hit end.